Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. Thanks for your support on Patreon, The Beast, Brock Taylor. Hello and welcome to the WrestleTalk Super News. I'm Ollie Davis. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. Yes, I do, Luke Harper's Twitter account. It's CM Punk said a load of stuff on WWE Backstage news time. After not appearing for the last 2 weeks, as he's only a periodic contributor to the show, CM Punk made his return to WWE Backstage last night to talk the biggest news stories in wrestling from the last 7 days. No, not the 4 wrestler releases or 2 wellness policy suspensions. He was there to talk about Seth Rollins' heel turn. Since Punk first appeared on WWE Backstage last month, Seth has tried to work a program with him on Twitter, posting "Fight me" and asking Fox to buy him a plane ticket to a recording to confront him. Going by Twitter, you could afford that yourself, Seth. Rollins actually brought this up on the post-Survivor Series episode of Raw, where Punk's hometown of Chicago drowned him out with CM Punk chants. So Seth replied, "I tried to get him here. I'm sorry. He didn't want to show up. He wants to sit behind a desk in Los Angeles and talk about a change that he's too afraid to make himself." But during Seth's WWE Backstage appearance the following week, with no CM Punk in sight, he said he didn't have anything more to say on the feud. This could be because Vince McMahon was reportedly furious at Rollins for potentially building to a Punk match on WWE TV, as the chairman hates talent pushing for matches on air that can't happen, like when Brock Lesnar and Stone Cold Steve Austin teased a match several years ago. Although Vince has no qualms announcing matches he never intends putting on himself. Since then, on Monday's Raw, Rollins had a very literal heel turn, revealing himself as Kevin Owens' Uberpool passenger from hell. After calling Seth a fool several weeks ago, Punk also dialed back their feud, taking a more neutral stance when reviewing the angle on Backstage, saying he'll wait and see about Rollins teaming with AOP, but he doesn't want a regurgitated Shield, and that Seth isn't good at being a good guy. The ironic thing is, everyone is going to cheer him now he's turned heel. A heel turn that apparently didn't go down the way WWE originally planned. More on that later. Or timestamps are your friend. Elsewhere on the show, Punk also said WWE should drop the red lights for themed matches and called WWE's Hall of Fame illegitimate unless every member of the NWO is inducted. A reference to Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash and Sean Waltman being announced as 2020 headliners earlier this week, despite Waltman being the 6th addition to the faction after Big Show when he was called the Giant and Ted DiBiase. In fairness to WWE though, if they were to induct every member of the NWO, that would fill up the next 14 years of Hall of Fame classes. Pretty much every wrestler in the 90s was part of that faction. One of Punk's most shocking revelations, however, was that he actually didn't mind the very poorly received Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns dog food angle at the end of Friday's SmackDown. I don't mind it either, Punk, actually. I've thought about it now, and I really actually like it. Please be my friend. Welcoming every town's favourite son, our King Baron Corbin, Punk compared Friday's angle to one of his favourite horror movies, the period drama Carrie. I'm going to blow a lot of people's minds right now. I did not hate the dog food as much as everyone assumes I'm going to hate it. The first thing I thought of was one of my favourite films, Carrie. They dump pig's blood on this poor girl and she goes haywire. Dog food, pig's blood is either one cornier than the other. Bad guys need to do bad things. Punk then seemed to develop an unlikely bromance with Corbin, a wrestler Punk confessed to not being familiar with just several weeks ago during Baron's interview segment, bonding over heel shenanigans, which is like totally fine. I guess we're seeing other best friends now. It's healthy for a relationship. Why won't you reply to me on Twitter, Punk? The episode also took a look back at AJ Styles and Finn Balor's TLC match from 2 years ago, where Punk took against the Bullet Club reference at the finish. I don't get the too sweet thing. Wrestling cosplay. Sidebar, does everyone just take pics with Triple H now? Yes, including Triple H. Punk continued about how the wrestling world now is so different from his era just 5 years ago. Man, what a different world. I'm basically unfrozen caveman lawyer. Your world frightens and confuses me. Okay, boomer. But while he might not quite get Bullet Club references, he sure can long-term book a cuckold storyline. And nothing is more 2019 and wrestling than cuckolding. WWE's Rusev, Lana and Bobby Lashley feud has been going on since September, but despite being very negatively received by many fans, its clipped-up versions consistently do great numbers on WWE's YouTube channel. Vince McMahon reportedly loves the work Rusev and Lana are doing, and the storyline is said to pay off with Rusev looking great. But Punk has offered his own bit of fantasy booking on last night's Backstage. I don't think Rusev wants to be involved with Lana anymore on screen, so Lana and Bobby go off and do their thing, but Lana grinds on the nerves. Bobby is sick of her. He leaves Lana too. They have another divorce. She gets another tag team to go after Bobby and Rusev, who have become best friends because they have the familiar, their ex-wife. This new tag team with Lana in tow go after them. What they do at WrestleMania, they put Lana in a shark cage, because by WrestleMania, the new tag team is already so sick of Lana that the loser of the match gets what's in the shark cage. We can continue it past WrestleMania. I don't know if we're still doing shows in Saudi Arabia, but Lana in Saudi Arabia, I've got ideas for that too. Come at me after the show. Because jokes are always funnier when people explain them, Punk referencing Saudi Arabia is most likely a thinly veiled jab at the country's lack of women's rights. After 3 big money shows in Saudi Arabia over a 1.5-year period, WWE were only able to put on their first women's match last month, where Natalya wrestled Lacey Evans while covered up in oversized t-shirts, which unfortunately didn't stop one member of the audience throwing a bottle of water at Natty during her entrance. But for married women committing adultery there, the punishment is significantly harsher than a bottle of water, as according to the country's law, the offending wife would have stones thrown at her until she dies. Maybe sometimes jokes aren't that funny when you explain them. Lana, of course, also actually appeared on last month's Saudi show heavily covered up, accompanying Bobby Lashley for the Team Flair versus Team Hogan match, but no reference to the cheating storyline was made. Just in case she wasn't watching though, Punk helpfully told Lana he's figured out her storyline. Loser keeps Lana match. Just booked you through Mania, Chica. You're welcome. Saudi Arabia is just one of the many real wrestling stories Backstage hasn't touched, and now we know exactly why that is. Since fully premiering last month, WWE Backstage has either glossed over or totally ignored WWE's heavily critiqued relationship with Saudi Arabia, the Saudi Arabia travel issues which caused many of the roster to miss SmackDown, NXT often losing in the ratings to AEW, the actual existence of AEW, Mike Kanellis publicly requesting his release again. I don't know if he has, I'm just putting this in here to be safe. Jordan Miles accusing the company of institutional racism. Luke Harper, Sin Cara and The Ascension being released. Mauro Ranallo missing Survivor Series in NXT because of comments made by Corey Graves. Robert Roode and Primo Colón being suspended because of wellness policy violations, and many, many more. But don't worry, because The Miz has signed a 5-year deal. Nothing to see here. One of the many criticisms against Backstage is that it fundamentally fails the concept of a wrestling news show, as the agenda appears to be set to not offend WWE. It's like watching the news in North Korea and going, why aren't they talking about the famine? Until now, this has just been speculation, but now Renee Young has pretty much confirmed that's the case to TV Insider. We want to do a service to WWE and Fox. Obviously, we keep our fans in mind with all of it. We want to cover as much as we can, but we bounce stuff off WWE as well to see what they are comfortable with us talking about. I've worked there for so long, I know exactly what that line is always going to be anyway. Besides, we gotta make time for all those matches they still haven't announced for TLC. Following their 5-minute open challenge win over the Street Profits on Monday, the Viking Don't Mention the War Experience Raiders issued another Raw Tag Team title open challenge on Backstage for this Sunday's TLC. Wrestling Observer has already reported that as of a week ago, a match between the OCs, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson and the Raiders was planned for the card, so expect the challenge to be answered by them. Maybe only announcing your pay-per-view matches just 6 days before is actually a smart strategy these days, as news has also come out that 2 major injuries have affected the TLC card. Another planned match was Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the Intercontinental title, but Strowman is currently dealing with a back injury, so he's been given time off to heal. The hope is that he's okay for Friday, where he can shoot an angle with Nakamura to set up the championship match on Sunday, which was originally meant to be done on last Friday's episode. The other reportedly injured star is Raw's Seth Rollins, which appears to have altered his heel turn plans. According to Dave Meltzer, Rollins broke his little finger in a street fight against Eric Rowan on Sunday's house show in Georgia, meaning he was pulled from wrestling on this week's Raw. What a difference 6 years makes. Where in 2013, Alberto Del Rio reportedly legitimately roughed up Sin Cara Uno for not finishing a match with a dislocated finger, and Sin Cara was the one who got heat backstage. Seth was originally meant to wrestle Cedric Alexander on Monday's episode, which was scheduled to be a step in the heel turn, but Rollins was pulled from the show. And while there was talk of him wrestling Kevin Owens at TLC, the match was never finalized and apparently is still not confirmed. While WWE officials have now cleared Rollins to wrestle with the injury going forward, it raises questions over whether the plan was always for Seth to fully unveil his AOP faction on Monday, or whether his full term was meant for later on, and it was a hastily booked change because of the scrapped Alexander match. Whatever the plans were, another long-standing question remains. Is Seth Rollins cool? Let me know in the comments down below, because I'll be replying to people from out of nowhere for the first 30 minutes after this video goes live. The question was first asked by this furious fan's sign at the end of October's terrible Hell in a Cell match between Rollins and The Fiend, in a clip that quickly went viral. And something a little different, I've interviewed that fan, Cable Allen, about what drove him to make that sign and how The Fiend losing has affected his wrestling fandom since. Check out the news that Robert Roode has been suspended by clicking the eye above my head, or stick around for that interview right now. Hello and welcome to the first ever edition of Sign of the Times. I'm Ollie Davis and I'm joined by the first ever guest on this show, Cable Allen, the man responsible for the Seth Rollins is not cool sign. What do you have to say for yourself, Cable?
Well, first of all, obviously, Seth Rollins is not cool. I did not expect this. First, I didn't expect the backlash from fans. Kurt Angle, accept you suck chance. I put not cool. I thought that was half of that. And I also was really upset with the show because Hell in a Cell was terrible. But so I was very angry in that video. So I'm probably screaming. I don't know if you can hear me because I probably don't have a voice because I was screaming that whole match. But I don't know. It is crazy.
The video that's done the rounds of you looking at Seth and Seth staring back at you like you're going to have a feud with him next. You're doing this. You're doing this a lot. Remember my face.
I was screaming, "You're a loser. Remember my face." Those are. I've tweeted him a couple times, especially after yesterday. He said that he likes to push back against fans on the backstage thing. So I just keep tweeting him the GIF, and I'm like, "Hey Rollins, push back." I just wanted Seth to remember how mad I was. That's it. It's just this sucks. I need Seth to remember me. Dun, dun, dun.
Seth Rollins is not cool. Now, I think that the question everyone wants to know the answer to is what font you use there on the side.
Cable's crappy giant Sharpie? I don't know.
And you've gone for so when was it that you decided Seth Rollins isn't cool? Make that sign.
I don't know. I have one Rollins shirt from when I went to the Mania where he faced Triple H and the Stephanie McMahon through the table spot. That was cool. But I also think Colby Lopez is not cool. He likes lame bands. He does the weird belty thing that I think isn't cool. I don't know. I've just grown to think that. And also the Will Ospreay stuff on Twitter is probably the major jumping off point.
On this week's episode of Raw that opened with Seth doing an apology speech in the ring, he calls out Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens comes down the entrance ramp. And there's a guy right on the entrance ramp with a similarly just devastatingly nice put down, which is just Seth Rollins Z-scooters.
I saw, I didn't watch Raw, but I saw your video mentioning it. And I texted my friend about the sign. And I was like, I hope we start a trend of just Seth Rollins does really lame stuff signs.
Yeah, what did you think when you were in there actually watching the Fiend versus Rollins match and you'd almost prophesized it with your sign?
Well, how was it watching Hell in a Cell's main event?
For the people around me, probably very bad. Because I was so into The Fiend, so like he's laying there and I'm standing on my chair screaming, get up, like get up. And like I enjoyed it at first until he laid in the ring for like, he just laid in the ring for 30 minutes.
So you've kept up with the pay-per-views. Are you gonna go
I mean,
back to WWE?
I watch y'all. So if like you tell me that something is amazing, I still DVR it. I still have Hulu. I don't know. Does DVR affect ratings? Maybe I should stop doing that. But
Well, NXT and AEW's DVR numbers are very big, apparently. You're not alone.
I DVR literally every wrestling, like Impact and AEW, and even WoW. I think because I know one of the girls on WoW. So like, I watch way too much wrestling.
So I guess just to finish things off, looks like Seth is finally turning heel on Raw. What are you hopeful about that? Are you not into him regardless?
I see. My friend asked me this the other day, and I was like, I feel like I can't like Seth anymore. Like no matter what he does, I'm the Seth Rollins is not cool guy now. Like that Twitter video had like 5 million views on Ryan Satin's thing that he refused to tag me in that I'm a little mad about. I'm like Brock Lesnar guy. Brock Lesnar guy can't come to a sign and come to a show with a sign that says Lesnar sucks. He's Brock Lesnar guy.
Yeah.
Like he's stuck doing forever.
And what if you see Seth IRL? Are you going to say to him?
No. My plan, I'm buying a used copy from Amazon of the Best of RVD in WWE. It's $2 in very good condition. I'm going to bring my sign. I'm going to roll it up. This is when I will give WWE money to go to his next meet and greet that's within like 4 or 5 hours of me. And I'm going to give him a copy of the Best of RVD. I'm going to be like, this is how you sell a frog splash. And then I'm going to unroll my sign and I'm going to ask him to sign it.
Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining us, Cable. And yeah, keep up the great sign work.
Thank you very much. It was awesome talking to you.
If you enjoyed this video, please press the thumbs up button, give us a subscribe, and share this video around. And find out all the details on WWE suspending 2 wrestlers yesterday, including a top SmackDown star, and details on the botched ending to Raw by clicking the videos on the right. I've been Ollie Davis, and that was wrestling.